Hello. Kenya day 3, African Safari day 2. This is my wake up view in what you wouldn't believe is a tent. It is, hang on, it puts Australian glamping a little bit to shame, but that is the morning view. It's 6:50 a.m. and that this is our, technically a tent, but fanciest damn tent you've ever seen, with, as you can see, glass frontage. This is probably the most western place I've stayed. This is, oh, I turn the lights on, our luggage area. Taking a tour. That's Eddie. Say hi, Eddie.
Hi.
And so this is very similar to, I guess, what I'd see in Australia. It's very different to what I stayed in last time. It's got a good proper shower and everything, and luggage, and we are weighted on hand and foot, but it is still technically a tent, which is awesome. And right now we've got half an hour about until the bus comes for our next game drive, spending all day out on the park. So it's time to go have another Kenyan breakfast and enjoy the day. On the way! Hi. Safari day 2! This is Anne.
My name is Anh from Vietnam.
Yes! Eva from Germany.
From Vietnam.
Jason from Hanoi. Vui from Hanoi.
And in the front we have Edu and our driver Joshua.
Hey.
Say hello.
Hello.
Safari day 2, we're spending all day today on the game park, and going to see all of the big 5 because we're awesome. Yes. Yeah. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Mambo. So Kenya day 3, Safari day 2. Days are already running together. Today we spent all day. So far it's about 4:30 now, and we just got back on the game park. And so we had early breakfast, which was pancakes, sausage and fried eggs, which is apparently typical, like it's actually a pretty typical Kenyan breakfast. Well, that was what some of them eat, and it seemed very similar to Australia. And then we went on the park in our safari van, and we saw all the animals we saw yesterday, except the rhino. Didn't see the rhino, but saw lots of lions, some cheetahs, and even a cheetah and her 4 cubs. Elephants, buffalo, lots of buffalo today. Lots of wildebeests. There was even some wildebeests and zebras in a big migration group that should usually be in Tanzania at the moment, but because there were no rains there, they came back. So we got to see a big migration group, which is uncommon for this time of year. And then we made it to the Mara River in the park and saw hippos and crocodiles and ostrich and too many other animals. But yeah, it was amazing. We had picnic lunch on the park, which was fun because you've got to like leave the car door open so that in case any animals come, because obviously you're just sitting in the wild in Africa. Eating lunch, and we had a packed lunch, and then headed back along the roads, and it's been amazing. And me, being me, I'm about to go for a run through the Maasai land. The Maasai people are beautiful. They wear these amazing robes, I guess you could call it, but they cover their shoulders usually, and almost not really dresses, but they're beautiful. And the women have amazing jewelry and piercings and all sorts of things. And yeah, I learnt so much today about all the different animals, and like the Maasai people who traditionally live mostly off meat, and they drink the blood of the animal as a supplement to the meat. They didn't typically eat much vegetables or anything else really. And then yeah, so I'm about to go for a run before dinner. Yay. Because it's quite safe here, and I'll be amazed to see all the wildlife. But it's been good. And now me and Edu over there is just relaxing in our glamping tent, which is, would never call a tent, but anyways, it's amazing. And right out the front is a view of some of Africa, and through the glass doors. And yeah, I'm pretty tired because at home it's like 1 a.m. and jet lag has hit me pretty hard today, but I'll get there. And yeah, tomorrow morning we've got a early game drive, which will be awesome because it's obviously later and earlier in the days when the animals are more active. So, and then long trip back to Nairobi, but I'll update about that later. And peace out. Bye. Running through Maasai land. And the roadblocks are cows and antelope. And the views are amazing. Everyone I run past says hello, habari, jumbo, one of them. And life is good. Say hello. Found some friends to run with. It's videoing.
Hello.
It's taking a video of you.
No.
That was insane. Oh my god. So, that was my first run in Kenya. And it was beyond words. I ran 12k, so I ran 6k through Maasai land and then back to Simba Oryx. And every single person I passed was screaming out either Mzungu, which is white person, or habari, hello, and then I'd yell back and they'd all laugh. And for quite a lot of the time, any group of kids would run with me and run beside me, and I had groups of kids following me, and every now and again one of them would take my hand and run along beside me with my hand, and they'll be asking what's my name and where I'm from. Slightly sad point was that they all knew how to beg, so some of their best English was give me your watch or give me money or help me, but which was heart grabbing, I suppose, but still it was amazing. And then there was a few I showed my phone and took photos, and I'm not sure they'd ever seen their own face before in some ways, because I showed her and she just, her eyes got so big, it was amazing, and they had no idea what was going on. But that was the stuff I've read about in books, and just so surreal. And I'm literally in the middle of nowhere in Africa, like, whoa. And this is Maasai land, so I'm surrounded by Maasai people, and they're beautiful people, and they're all so lovely. They were all smiling at me and so welcoming in many ways, and so thankful that it's safe here and that I got to experience that, because oh my god. I love running, and I don't think many of them had ever seen a white person running before, because they were all amazed, and they'd line the street, and every now and again a group of kids would line up and I'd high five all of them as we went past. And it's a shame I won't be able to do this again here, but it's once in a lifetime opportunity, and it was amazing. So happy right now. And now it's time for another traditional Kenyan dinner. So, looking forward to that. I'm hoping there's some ugali, because ugali is amazing. Yeah. Happy me, running, Africa. Ugh, it's beautiful. Love ya. currently locked out of my room or tent while Edu gets a massage after my run. So I figured I may as well update you on a few more of the things I've learned about Kenya. It's a beautiful place, like Africa, the countryside and the nature and animals is insane. But yeah, the way people live is very interesting. So like where I am at the moment, the Maasai, they live in mud huts. And on the drive up here from Nairobi, it's a lot of like little shacks, I suppose you can call them, that people live in, and hotels and all sorts of things. In Nairobi, it's very busy and crowded, and people live in, I suppose there's like some high rise and some apartments and that sort of thing, but it's not the same. And then as soon as you get anywhere out of the city, it's very similar to, I suppose, what you see in documentaries and stuff, but experiencing it firsthand is definitely very different. And yeah, some of the other things I've learned, like I already knew that there's different tribes in different areas, very similar to the way the Aboriginals in Australia were organised or are organised in different sort of groups or tribes in different areas depending on their land space. Some tribes get along, some tribes don't, as with, I suppose, anywhere. And different tribes have different rules for things, and they eat slightly different foods. Like Edu's from Mombasa, which is on the coast. They eat more seafood, and there's this special food apparently that's dried shark. But like where I am now, the Maasai, they like nothing will grow here. No plants or vegetation or like nothing that they can eat vegetable wise or rice wise would grow here. So they live off meat. Other than that, they buy other things if they've got the money. And then, yeah, so different areas, like it depends on what they can grow as to what they eat. Ugali is pretty general in national sort of food. And yeah, the way the tribes sort of rule things is very different. Like Edu was explaining to me just before that in Mombasa, they have the jail and there's the police and everything that are supposed to set about the law, but often the community or the tribe will get in first before the police have an opportunity to. And so rather gruesomely, if you steal, the punishment usually is being burned alive and killed for stealing. A bit harsh, but it's just the way they live. Edu told me a story about just 2 weeks ago. He had a couple of British volunteers with him, and they were about to go on a ferry in Mombasa, and one of their cameras got stolen, and the British man screamed out, "Oh, he's got my camera, he's taken my camera." And Edu said before you knew it, people were on him, and he didn't survive. He was bashed to death for taking this man's camera, and of course the Englishman felt very bad he's like, "How can you lose the camera? Like, it's okay, it's not that big of a deal." But in their culture and their tradition, it's you don't take what isn't yours in Mombasa. This is just in Mombasa, so in Nairobi it's completely different. In other tribes it may be different again, but usually the punishment is being burned. So it is still done that people are burned alive for stealing if the police don't get in first and take them to jail. But the way the tribes see it and the elders in the community see it, it's often the people will go to jail, get bailed out, and then steal again. So it's kind of their way of putting an end to it. I don't know. I still have to talk to Edu about it more until I can understand it more. But yeah, that's an interesting, certainly, way of living. But would put you off stealing. Would put me off stealing at least. But yeah, and then obviously at the moment I'm right near the border of Tanzania, or Tanzania is what I can't remember how they pronounce it. Tanzania, I think they pronounce it. But Tanzania is how we say. And yeah, it's the Serengeti is right near the Masai Mara. But so I'm on the bottom border of Kenya. The top border is a no-go zone pretty much because it borders Sudan and Somalia, and there's Uganda on one side, and yeah, so that's where there's lots of killing and fighting. And Edu says most of it is because he's visited the border, and he counsels people and helps people who are fighting, or people who have lost everything. Most of the fighting, or some of the fighting, is because there's the farmers and then there's the cattlemen. So they, like, different families do different things. And part of the problem is that the cattlemen are letting their cattle graze on the farmers' land and ruining their crops. So in return, the farmers are killing the cattle or injuring the cattle. So it's kind of, they're ruining each other's livestock. That's what some of the arguments are about. But yeah, it's all very interesting seeing how they live. And it still amazes me that I'm in the middle of absolutely nowhere and still have phone reception and can get Wi-Fi in certain places. But yeah, it's a crazy adventure, and beautiful, beautiful people, so welcoming to me, or everywhere I've been, so welcoming to foreigners, other than sort of begging for money or help or that sort of thing. But for the most part, they're just amazing, and it's been a blessing to meet so many of them. And I've got plenty more to meet because it's only day 3, so looking forward to that. Yeah.